Victor, back again, my friends. Today, I've got horrible news. This may be the beginning of the end, and I'm almost ashamed to admit this, but I'm hearing a lot of voices in my head. Like the voices are just taking over. I'm hearing these voices, and the truth is, many of you may relate to the voices that are in my head, which might be a good thing. What I'm talking about are the voices of customers, the voices of employees, the voices of partners reaching out in the form of survey comments. You know, those links that you send them, and you're hoping they just pick 1 through 5. And of course, we always want the 5, or we always want the 1, depending on how you write your surveys. And then you have these comment boxes, but you really don't want anybody to fill those out because, gosh, then somebody really needs to read them and understand them. Well, guess what? That's what AI can do for you. All those comments that you don't like getting, those voices from the customers, from employees, from partners, from all sorts of angles that come at you that you're not sure what to do because it's not structure 1, 2, 3, 4s that you can aggregate and average and min and max and those kind of things. It's just pure text that's unstructured. Well, that's a great use case for AI in general, right? Well, the good news is Qlik has a partner called Luminoso, and this is exactly the use case that they take care of. So you would pass it the information from those surveys, and it would then go through some artificial intelligence to do things like text classification, where they take words and they raise them to higher levels so that it's easier for you to work with and understand in general, instead of having to try to read 90,000 different words that are in each of them. And so they raise words in the surveys up to concepts. They take those comments, further raise those up into clusters that are conversational about things. And then they can bring those things up, show you, hey, here's the things that customers are talking about the most. Here's things that customers are talking about the least, or here's the clusters of where employees are talking the most or the least, etc. Right? And they bring those things up. And yes, they also do sentiment analysis so that you know which of these clusters have positive sentiment, which of these clusters and which of these concepts have negative sentiment. So Luminoso allows you to just upload your surveys. It goes off and does its artificial intelligence genius. It allows you to visualize it there. Or, here's the or, I've created a voice of the customer. I mean, voice of the employee. I mean, voice of the partner accelerator application for you, where you simply run Luminoso to let it do the AI for you, and we'll talk to it and bring that data back into Qlik. In the accelerator that I give you, I walk you through exactly what steps you need to do, and there's only a handful of these steps that you need to change. I've done all the rest of the coding for you. So I've got one screen that would let you see, oh, yep, I did in fact bring my data in. This is from a sample project for beer. And I create the data model for you. Yay! Well, the last step that I do in this application is I store it into QVD files. Now, why would I want to store this? I'm happy just visualizing it right on the screen, right? Well, maybe. I mean, this is crazy. What if I want other people to hear voices in their head? And I want to share that voice of the customer, voice of the employee, voice of the partner data with people in our global fictitious ale application, right? I've got a fictitious global distribution company, and I've got customers that have filled out surveys for my fictitious beers and told me all about it. I may want to bring that data right into this application because that's what Qlik Sense is great at, right? Reading disparate data sources. Well, hey, fantastic. As long as there's something in those documents that will link me back to my sales documents, woohoo! I know what customer it is. Now I can do really cool analytics things with these voices. Like, I've got a 20.24 overall global days sales outstanding. That's a pretty decent number for those of you that might be familiar with SAP systems. That's a good number, right? But I'm starting to have some problems, and I want to figure out why these things may exist, right? Well, if I had that voice of the customer in the heads of these analysts, we could look at things like this and realize, hey, the number one thing that their customers are talking about in all their surveys has to do with the nose, right? And so I go through and I look at this, and it breaks it down right away for me and shows me the concepts that were rolled up into nose. I can see overall things about, are they happy or not happy? Well, I look down here at this one concept that's part of a cluster called nose, and it's bitter. And if I look at that, I can then look at every single one of those customer surveys that came back where this concept was used, which was rolled up into this cluster, and I can see the sentiment, right? Well, this is the confidence score in that the sentiment is negative, or that it is positive, or that it is neutral. Well, what I want to do is say, what impact are these customers who have a very negative sentiment from me, right? Our confidence score is very high that what they've written is negative, right? And I look at that and I can filter right down to those. And now if I wanted to, I could go read each and every one of those surveys. I can read the whole thing. Well, if I was a speed reader, I could probably read each of these in, a day or so, right? I mean, there's thousands of these things. The great thing is, by doing that, now that I've filtered to my voice of the customer, I've let the customer tell me they are unhappy. Guess what? The days sales outstanding for those customers who are unhappy about the bitter in the nose of the beer, their DSO is almost double. I'm going to let that sink in for a moment because that should, right? We talk about, oh, we want to do AI. We need a good use case. What's a great use case for AI? Folks, there's no better use case for AI than letting it process the voices of your customers, your employees, your patients, your partners, whatever it may be. Don't look at those surveys and hope that people don't fill in the comments. Beg those customers, those employees, those patients to fill in the comment section, because you have a trusted tool you can use now to read that data and unprocess it, roll those things up so that you can then analyze them and figure out where those voices are impacting your business. As always, I sure hope you have a great day. And I hope that you go ahead and check out our partner Luminoso and take a look at this. Just go to daylight.luminoso.com. If you look down in the details for this video, you're going to see the link that'll get you to this voice of the customer accelerator for you. And you feel free to change that name to whatever it may be that you need it to be on your end.